How are you guys doing? It is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. I here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. And for today's episode of The Elite, I'm going to take you through the basketball games that transpired yesterday in the NBA playoffs, along with the WNBA bubble. I'm going to take you through the NHL bubble to show you what's going on in those playoffs. And also, I'm going to take you through yesterday's regular season baseball as that's still going on. And additionally, I'm going to take you through the games tomorrow or the games for today that you should most definitely know about. So, first off, I'm going to start off in Milwaukee for the first of the two basketball games yesterday, the playoff basketball games. And the 5 seed Miami Heat were able to beat the 5 seed Miami Heat were able to beat the first seed Milwaukee Bucks 116-114 off of last second free throws by Jimmy Butler to put them up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference semifinals over the MLB or over the top team in the NBA, the team with the best win percentage, the Milwaukee Bucks, so far going into the season. First off, for the Bucks, they had George Hill, their point guard off the bench, finishing with 14 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and a steal in 26 minutes. Out of the starters, Wesley Matthews would finish with 4 points in 30 minutes. Eric Bledsoe would finish with 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists in 31 minutes. Brook Lopez, their center, would finish with 16 points and 7 rebounds, a steal, and a block in 32 minutes. Chris Middleton, their small forward, would finish with 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists, shooting 6 for 10 from the field this game. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reigning NBA MVP, their elite power forward, finished with 29 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block as he shot 10 for 18 from the field in 36 minutes. He shot 0 for 1 from 3, and he made 9 of his 13 free throw attempts. For the Miami Heat, big all-around team performance. Off the bench, Kelly Olynyk finished with 11 points and 5 rebounds in 16 minutes, shooting 4 for 6 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3. Tyler Hero, their shooting guard, would finish with 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists off the bench in 32 minutes. Out of the starters, Jimmy Butler, their small forward, would finish with 13 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals, along with the game-winning 2 free throws at the very end of the game. He drew the foul at the very end. The score was tied at 114. And I guess he did get fouled by either Wesley Matthews or Giannis. I forget who fouled him, but it was one of those two guys. He would go to the line to sink 2 free throws with no seconds left on the shot clock to give Miami the win. But he still finished with 13 points on the night, 3 for 8 from the field, 7 for 8 from the line, 0 for 2 from 3. Additionally, Duncan Robinson, their shooting guard, would finish with 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals in 27 minutes. He shot 3 for 8 from 3. Their power forward, Bam Adebayo, out of Kentucky, would finish with 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists as he fouled out the game. He finished 4 for 8, 7 for 8 from the line. And their biggest performer of the night would be Goran Dragic, who finished with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. He shot 8 for 18 from the field in 34 minutes, 4 for 8 from 3, and he made 3 of his 4 free throw attempts. With this win, the Miami Heat, like I said, are now leading the series 2-0 over the Milwaukee Bucks. And now jumping to the second game of the night, the Houston Rockets, the 4 seed in the West, were able to do away with the Oklahoma City Thunder, the 5 seed in the West, as the 7-game series came down to a final possession, where the Oklahoma City Thunder would have multiple chances to at least try to take the lead against the Houston Rockets, but the Rockets defense wouldn't allow them to do so. This game will go down to the very end, and then James Harden would end up getting the play of the night, the play of the series, the play that basically made that made the Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook trade worthwhile when he blocked Luke Dort's 3 at the very end to seal the Thunder's fate. And then at the very end, they tried to pass it into Steven Adams, but the ball got jumbled up. But the Houston Rockets, with this win, they go on to win the series 4-3 in 7 games over the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they will advance to play the top seed Los Angeles Lakers. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are officially the 8th team to be eliminated from the playoffs this year, and with this, and after this game, there are 8 teams left. In the Oklahoma City Thunder's final game as a team, Dennis Schroeder will come off the bench with 12 points in 35 minutes, shooting 5 for 17 from the field with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. Out of the Thunder starters, Danilo Gallinari, their power forward, would finish with 4 points, 9 rebounds, and an assist as he finished shooting 2 for 6 from the field in 27 minutes. Steven Adams, their center, who I met in LA once, but I digress, I'm sorry. He finished with 10 points and 9 rebounds and 2 steals on the day as he shot 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from the line. Their shooting guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in his second season, in the final game of his second season, would finish with 19 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals as he shot 6 for 11, 3 for 4 from three, and he made all 4 of his free throw attempts. Chris Paul, their elite point guard, in his final game with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2020 in the bubble, he would finish with 19 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, and 2 steals on the day as he shot 5 for 11 from the field in 40 minutes. He shot 3 for 6 from 3, and he made all 6 of his free throw attempts. And the biggest and the top scorer of the night for the Oklahoma City Thunder would be Luke Dort, who would take the last shot and would get blocked by Harden. He would finish 10 for 21 from the field in 35 minutes. He finished with 30 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, and a block, as he also shot 6 for 12 from 3, 4 for 6 from the line. So, I mean, he was shooting incredibly hot until James Harden did cool him down or silence him at the end. For the Rockets, the final game of this series, Jeff Green will go on to he'd finish with 13 points off the bench in 21 minutes, shooting 5 for 7 from the field. Additionally, James Harden, the Houston Rockets elite shooting guard, would finish with 17 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, including the biggest block of the series, while still having 5 fouls on the game. He shot 4 for 15 from the field, 1 for 9 from 3, and 8 for 9 from the free throw line. Russell Westbrook, their elite point guard, would finish with 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists as he shot 9 for 20 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, and he made both of his free throws. Robert Covington and Aaron Gordon would finish with 21 points each. Covington would also add in 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. He had a really good all-around game. He shot 7 for 15 from the field, 6 for 11 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line. And Aaron Gordon would shoot 6 for 11 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, and he'd make all 4 of his free throws. It was a team effort for the Houston Rockets to advance, and like I said, they will advance to play against the Los Angeles Lakers in the next round. And with this win, the Rockets are officially the last team to advance into the second round, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, as of right now, hold the 22nd overall pick in the. Well, I'm not sure if they hold the 20. I think they hold the 22nd overall pick in the NBA draft as of right now. But with that said, I'm going to jump into today's games just to give you a hint of what to look out for today. At 6:30, the Boston Celtics take on the 2-seed Toronto Raptors. The Boston Celtics lead that series 2-0. And at 9 o'clock, it'll be game 1 of the Western Conference semifinal series between the Denver Nuggets, the 3-seed Denver Nuggets, and the 2-seed Los Angeles Clippers, who just came off of a 6-game win over the Dallas Mavericks. Now I'm going to jump into the WNBA bubble just to let you know what's going on with all the teams over there because that bubble is still going strong, and just to let you know, fill you in. First off, the Minnesota Lynx were able to beat the Chicago Sky 86-83 last night. With this win, the Lynx are now 12-5 as the Sky dropped to 11-7. Damiris Dantas would finish with 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals. And Cheyenne Parker would add in 20 points and 15 rebounds for the Sky. For the Los Angeles Sparks, Candace Parker would lead the way as the Sparks picked up their 13th win of the season. She added 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists to help the Sparks jump out to a 13-4 record. And the Seattle Storm will win yet another game, keeping a full game lead over the Los Angeles Sparks. Natasha Howard would lead the way for Seattle with 13 points, 9 rebounds on the night, and they are now officially 9-0, quote unquote, at home. And jumping to today's games, the Atlanta Dream are going to face off against the New York Liberty, two of the East's worst teams. The Las Vegas Aces are going to take on the Connecticut Sun at 8 o'clock, and at 10, the Indiana Fever take on the Phoenix Mercury, who are being led by Diana Taurasi, who started off this season on a tear. I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm going to jump into the NHL bubble, let you know what's going on with the Stanley Cup playoffs, because of course that's going on as well. The only game last night happened between the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars in Game 6 of the series, as the Colorado Avalanche were able to tie up the series with the Dallas Stars to send the series into a Game 7. Of course, Colorado was led by their captain, Nat McKinnon. He would finish with a goal and an assist for Colorado to help them get this win. And, of course, their right winger, Mikko Rantanen would finish with a goal and an assist as well. And, of course, their goalie, Michael Hutchinson, would only allow one goal from the Dallas Stars, who had already won 3 games against him. Great performance from the Avalanche, and as of right now, they're still standing. Now jumping to today's Stanley Cup final or semifinal games, the Stanley Cup Conference semifinal games, I'm sorry. First off, the Flyers are going to take on the Islanders at 7 o'clock. The Islanders lead that series 3-2. They could put themselves through to the next round, or the Flyers could send this series into a Game 7, as the Flyers are the higher seed. And at 9:45, the Las Vegas Golden Knights look to clinch their series against the Vancouver Canucks. They lead that series 3-2. This is Game 6 in the in the West bubble. That's what to look forward to tonight. That's at 9:45 on NBC Sports Network. But that's what's going on with hockey right now before I jump into baseball. But right now I will jump into baseball, and because it was Wednesday, a lot of series were ending. Some had already ended. Some were, but some are reaching their end. Some had already ended before this, but first I'm gonna start out in the West. First off, I'm gonna move out to the Astros, as there was a really great pitching performance between Carlos Javier and Colby Allard. Colby Allard would pick up his 4th loss of the season, as he would allow 2 earned runs through 7 innings, as he struck out 4. Christian Javier would pick up the win for the Houston Astros, as he allowed 1 earned run in 6.2 innings pitched. He struck out 3. He struck out 3 on the day. The only RBI for the Texas Rangers would come from their third baseman, Kinner Falefa. He would finish 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run, as he hit his 2nd home run in the 4th, the only run that Carlos Javier gave up the whole game. For the Astros, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would finish 1 for 4. Their left fielder, Michael Brantley, would finish 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he hit his 3rd home run of the season in the first inning off Allard to pretty much put this game away for the Astros. And the Rangers were just unable to score, and with this win, the Astros are now 20-15, and the Texas Rangers now drop to 13-22 in the AL West. Now jumping out to the staying on the AOS, the Los Angeles Angels hosted the San Diego Padres, and the Padres were able to beat them 11-4 following an inning where they scored 8 runs to break the tie. Dinelson Lamet would get the start for the San Diego Padres. He'd allow 3 earned runs in 6.1 innings, as he struck out 6. Julio Teheran would get the nod for the Angels, as he allowed 2 earned runs through 5. Neither of them would get the decision. For the Los Angeles Angels, their GOAT-level center fielder, Mike Trout, would hit his 13th home run of the season. He finished 2 for 4 on the day with 2 RBIs and a run. Their elite third baseman, Anthony Rendon, would finish 1 for 3 on the day. Albert Pujols, their future Hall of Fame first baseman, finished 1 for 3 with an RBI on the day. For the San Diego Padres, their elite shortstop, Fernando Tatis Jr., would finish 0 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He had 2 walks on the day. Manny Machado, their elite third baseman, would finish 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Eric Hosmer, their first baseman, would hit his 8th home run of the season, as he finished 2 for 3, with 3 RBIs and 3 runs on the day. With this win, the San Diego Padres are now officially 23-15, and the Angels now drop to 12-25. Additionally, the Padres left fielder Jurickson Profar would finish 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. I did miss him. But staying out and now jumping out to the NL Central, the Los Angeles Dodgers hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks. Kenley Jansen picked up his second win in Walker Buehler's start as the Los Angeles Dodgers were able to score all three of their runs in the 9th and 10th innings. First, the Arizona Diamondbacks scored in the 6th inning off of a Christian Walker home run. Then Mookie Betts would hit his 12th home run of the season to tie the game at 9. And then this would go into overtime where the Diamondbacks would score a run, but the Dodgers would score 2 to get them a much needed win over the Arizona Diamondbacks to get their MLB leading 28th win of the season. For the Diamondbacks, their first baseman Christian Walker, who I just said hit a home run, he would finish 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. For the Dodgers, first off, led by Walker Buehler, who would strike out 6 in 5 innings, allow no earned runs, and only allow 2 hits and walk 1 batter. Mookie Betts, their elite right fielder, would finish 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And like I just said, he had his 12th home run of the season. And additionally, following that, Will Smith, their catcher, would get the other RBI on the day for the Dodgers as he went 1 for 3 with an RBI. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 14-23, and like I said, the Dodgers are now 28-10 with the best record in baseball as of right now. Jumping out to the East, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the New York Mets, and the Mets were able to beat them 9-4. Peterson would pick up his 4th win of the season as a reliever. Michael Wacha would get the start, and he would allow 2 earned runs in 3 innings. Means would pick up the loss for Baltimore. He's now 0-3. He would allow 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, striking out 1. Out of the Baltimore Orioles, not much going on. Their left fielder, Ryan Mountcastle, would go on to finish 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Out of the Mets, their elite first baseman Pete Alonso would finish 1 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 7th home run of the season. Additionally, Conforto would hit his 6th home run of the season. He finished 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs and a run. And it was a big win for the Mets. With this win, they are now 16-21, and with this loss, the Orioles are now 16-20. A record that if they were in the same division, they'd be half a game better. Now jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Toronto Blue Jays, and basically where all the runs happened in the 5th inning. Hyunjin Ryu would pick up his 3rd win of the season as he would strike out 8 batters and only allow 1 run in 6 innings. Sixto Sanchez would pick up the first loss in his career as he allowed 2 earned runs and struck out, or as he struck out 5 in 7 innings. For the Marlins, the only RBI would come from their first baseman, Garrett Cooper. He would finish 1 for 3 with an RBI on the day. And then for the Toronto Blue Jays, their left fielder, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., would go on to finish 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their elite pinch hitter, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would finish 0 for 1 on the day. With this win, the Blue Jays are now 19-16 in the AL East, and the Marlins now drop to 16-16 in the NL East. Speaking of the NL East, jumping out to Philadelphia, the Phillies were able to blank the Nationals 3-0. Zach Wheeler would get his 4th win of the season. He's now 4-0. He would allow no earned runs. He would strike out 6 through 6 innings as the Philadelphia Phillies would pick up their 17th win of the season. The loss would go to GOAT level pitcher Max Scherzer, who's now 3-2 on the season. He would allow 3 earned runs and strike out 6 batters in 6 innings. Out of the Nats, no one could really get it going. 4 players got hits. For the Phillies, their right fielder Jay Bruce would finish 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 6th home run of the season. And their first baseman, Neil Walker, would finish the game 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs for the Phillies. With this win, the Phillies are 17-15 in the NL East, and with this loss, the Nationals are now 12-22. Now jumping out to the AL East, the Yankees hosted the Rays last night as the top 2 teams in the AL East faced off, and the Rays were able to get the best of the Yankees, beating them 5-2. Charlie Morton would get the start. He would only pitch 2 innings. He would pitch 2 shutout innings. He would walk 2 and strike out 4. James Montgomery would pick up the loss for the Yankees. He allowed 4 earned runs in less than an inning. The Rays did score 4 of their 5 runs in the first inning. For the New York Yankees, first off, DJ LeMahieu, their second baseman, would finish 1 for 5 with an RBI, and Clint Frazier would finish with the other RBI for the Yankees. For the Tampa Bay Rays, their left fielder, Randy Arozarena, would finish 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run for the day. Their second baseman, Mike Brousseau, would go on to finish 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs for the day. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are 26-12. With this loss, the Yankees are now 20-15 in the AL East. Jumping out to Boston, their rivals, the Boston Red Sox, also took a loss took a loss. The Atlanta Braves came into town and beat them 7-5. Maztec would pick up the win for the Braves as Erlin got the start. The Atlanta Braves would basically pull away with this one in the 6th inning, as they were at one point down 5-3, but they would score 2 runs in the 6th and then a run in the 7th and 8th innings to eventually put them over the top of the Boston Red Sox. Layer would get the start for the Boston Red Sox. He'd only pitch 1 full inning. He'd allow a hit and then but Triggs would eventually pick up a second loss for the Boston Red Sox. For the Red Sox, Verdugo, their right fielder, would finish 2 for 4 with 2 runs on the day. JD Martinez, their left fielder, would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Jackie Bradley Jr. would hit his 3rd home run of the season as he finished 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. For the Atlanta Braves, their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, would finish 2 for 5. Their designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna, would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 12th home run of the season last night. Their right fielder, Adam Duvall, would have a really, really good game as he finished 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs and 3 runs. As he hit 3 home runs last night for the Atlanta Braves, he now has 8 on the season. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are 22-14, and the Boston Red Sox drop to 12-25. With that said, I'm going to jump now to the Central because those were all the East games that were covered yesterday. The Cincinnati Reds hosted and beat the St. Louis Cardinals yesterday. They 4-3 on a walk-off play. It would be a walk-off single from Joey Votto to help them win the game. Iglesias would pick up the win for Cincinnati as Mayo got the start. Mayo would pitch 7 innings, allow 3 earned runs, and strike out 3. And for the Cardinals, Oviedo would get the start. He would allow 3 earned runs in 4.2 innings, striking out 5. For the Cardinals, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, would go 0 for 4 for the night. Their designated hitter, Brad Miller, would finish 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 5th home run of the season. And Yadier Molina, future Hall of Fame catcher, would hit his 2nd home run of the day as he went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run for the Cardinals. For the Cincinnati Reds, Joey Votto would finish 1 for 5 with the game-winning RBI. Additionally, their catcher, Barnhart, would go on to finish 1 for 2. Tucker Barnhart finished with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 2nd home run of the season. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 16-21 as the Cardinals drop to 14-14. Jumping out to Pittsburgh, the team with the worst record in the National League hosted the team with the best record in the National League Central. The Cubs were able to beat the Pirates 8-2 behind Kyle Hendricks' win. Hendricks would allow only 1 run, and she struck out 6 in 6 innings. He's now 4-4 on the season with this win. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, their first baseman, Colin Moran, would finish 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 7th home run of the season. For the Chicago Cubs, Wilson Contreras would finish 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Javier Baez, their elite shortstop, would finish 1 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 6th home run of the season last night. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are 22-14 as the Pittsburgh Pirates now drop to 10-24. Now jumping out to Milwaukee, the Brewers hosted the Detroit Tigers and beat them 8-5. Hauser would get the start and Hader would get the save. Yardley would pick up the win for the Brewers, but Hauser would pitch 5 innings. He'd allow 5 earned runs. He would strike out 2 in the game, and then for the Detroit Tigers, Spencer Turnbull would also allow 5 earned runs. He would pitch 4 innings. He would strike out 5. Out of the Tigers, Castro, their shortstop, would finish 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs on the day. And then out of the Brewers, first starting off with their elite left fielder Christian Yelich. He had a really peculiar game. He would go 0 for 1. He would walk 4 times, and he would finish with 3 runs on the day. Keston Hiura, their designated hitter, would finish 1 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run, as he had his 9th home run of the season. Additionally, Narvaez, their catcher, would finish 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the Brewers are now 17-19 in the NL Central. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are 17-17 within the American League Central. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals got blanked by the Cleveland Indians at home. Indians beat them 5-0, only allowing 3 hits. Tristan McKenzie would pick up yet another amazing start to add to his debut. He would go on to allow no runs. He'd strike out 6 batters in 6 innings for this win. Tyler Naquin would hit his 2nd home run of the season, or he would hit 2 home runs. He now has 4 on the season, as the right fielder finished 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs on the day. Tyler Naquin would go on to have all 5 RBIs on the day for the Cleveland Indians, and he was the only person in the game to have RBIs. Wild game for him, as he had a 2-run home run in the 2nd and a 3-run home run in the 9th for the Cleveland Indians to pick up their 23rd win of the season. And with this win, they are 23-14. And with this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 14-23 on the season. Now jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Chicago White Sox and beat them 8-1. Jose Barrios would pick up his 3rd win of the season, as he allowed only 1 earned run and struck out 8 batters in 6 innings pitched. Lopez would pick up the start for the White Sox. He's now 0-2 on the season. Minnesota would give Lopez the loss, despite the fact that he pitched less than 2 innings. For the Chicago White Sox, Jose Abreu was the only player to get an RBI, as he finished 1 for 3. Out of the Minnesota hitters, first off, Josh Donaldson, their 3rd baseman, former Atlanta Brave, would finish 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Additionally, their left fielder, Eddie Rosario, would finish 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run on the day. Miguel Sano, their first baseman, would finish 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. And with this win, the Twins are now 22-16. And with this loss, the Chicago White Sox are now 22-15. And last but not least, I'm going to jump out to a game out west that I missed before I started. The Colorado Rockies hosted the San Francisco Giants and beat them 9-6. Kyle Freeland would get the start for the Colorado Rockies. He'd only pitched 2 innings, and he gave up 4 earned runs. Webb would get the start for the Giants. He gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings. Out of the Giants, their right fielder Mike Yastrzemski would finish 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run, as he hit his 8th home run of the season. Additionally, their shortstop Daniel Robertson would finish 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the day. And for the Colorado Rockies, their shortstop Trevor Story would finish 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Additionally, their elite 3rd baseman Nolan Arenado would finish 1 for 5 with a run on the day. Their center fielder Kevin Pillar would finish 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Hillard would hit his 5th home run of the season, as their left fielder went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. And Hampson would finish with his 5th home run, as the second baseman went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run on the day. And with this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 18-19. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are now 18-20. And with that said, I'm going to jump right now into how the standings look for these teams right now, how they sit before we look at what games are going to be played today. So, without further ado, I'm really just gonna jump in this first from the AL side. Start from the AL East. The Tampa Bay Rays currently lead the American League East with a 26-12 record outright. 4.5 games behind them are the 20-15 New York Yankees. A game behind the Yankees are the 19-16 Toronto Blue Jays, who are 5.5 games behind the Rays. 3.5 games behind the Toronto Blue Jays are the 16-20 Baltimore Orioles, who are 9 full games behind the Tampa Bay Rays. 4.5 games behind the Orioles are the 12-25 Boston Red Sox. In last place, who are 13 and a half games behind the first place Tampa Bay Rays. Jumping to the AL Central, the Cleveland Indians lead the AL Central outright with a 23-14 record. A game behind them are the 22-15 Chicago White Sox, and then half a game behind the White Sox are the 22-16 Minnesota Twins, who are a game and a half behind the Cleveland Indians. 3 games behind the Minnesota Twins are the 17-17 Detroit Tigers, who are 4.5 games behind the Cleveland Indians, and 4.5 games behind the Detroit Tigers are the 14-23 Kansas City Royals, who are a full 9 games behind the first place Cleveland Indians in last place. Jumping out to the AL West, the Oakland A's currently lead they currently lead the AL West with a 22-12 record. 2.5 games behind them are the 20-15 Houston Astros, who have been catching up and gaining momentum. 6 games behind the Houston Astros are the 15-22 Seattle Mariners, who are 8.5 games behind the Oakland Athletics. A game behind them are the 13-22 Texas Rangers, who are 9.5 games behind the Oakland A's. And 2 games behind the Texas Rangers in last place are the Los Angeles Angels, who are 11.5 games behind the first place Oakland A's. Jumping out to the National League East, the Atlanta Braves lead the division outright with a 22-14 record. 3 games behind them are the 17-15 Philadelphia Phillies. A game behind the Phillies are the 16-16 Miami Marlins, who are a full 4 games behind the Atlanta Braves. 2.5 games behind the Miami Marlins are the 16-21 New York Mets, who are 6.5 games behind the first place Atlanta Braves, and 2.5 games behind them are the 12-22 Washington Nationals, defending champs, who are now a full 9 games behind the Atlanta Braves in last place. Jumping out to the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs currently have the best record in the National League Central, but tied with the Braves for the 3rd best record in the National League. 4 full games behind them are the 14-14 St. Louis Cardinals. A game behind them are the 17-19 Milwaukee Brewers, who are 5 full games behind the Chicago Cubs. A game and a half behind the Milwaukee Brewers right now are the 16-21 Cincinnati Reds, who are now 6.5 games behind the Chicago Cubs, and 4.5 games behind the Cincinnati Reds are the 10-24 Pittsburgh Pirates in last place, who are a full 11 games behind the Chicago Cubs. Jumping out to the National League West, last but not least, the Los Angeles Dodgers have the most wins in baseball. They have 28 wins, and they also have the least amount of losses with 10, despite other teams having to start later than others. But 5 full games behind them, with the 2nd best record in the National League, are the 23-15 San Diego Padres, who have a better record than all but 3 teams. They don't have a better record than the Tampa Bay Rays or the Cleveland Indians. But right now, they're 5 full games behind the Los Angeles Dodgers, 4.5 games behind the San Diego Padres, the 18-19 Colorado Rockies, who are 9.5 games behind the Dodgers. Half a game behind the Rockies are the 18-20 San Francisco Giants, who are 10 games behind the Dodgers. And 3.5 games behind the San Francisco Giants are the 14-23 Arizona Diamondbacks, who are 13.5 games behind the first place Dodgers. And with that said, I'm going to take you through the games to look forward to today, because today is Thursday. Some series are starting, some series are ending, and some games just straight up aren't playing. First off, Alec Mills is going to look to try to get his 4th win of the season as the Cubs take on the Pirates at 135. Lance Lynn looking to get his 5th win of the season, and Zach Greinke's looking to go 3-0 as the Rangers take on the Astros at 210. Zach Eflin will try to get his 3rd win of the season as the Phillies take on the Nats, the NL East worst team, the worst record Nats, at 405. Following that, Mike Clevenger is going to make his first start for the San Diego Padres as they take on the Los Angeles Angels at 7:10. Taijuan Walker is looking to make a start for the Blue Jays as he takes on the Red Sox at 7:30. Danny Duffy's looking to get his 3rd win against C's as the White Sox take on the Royals at 8:05. Clayton Kershaw is looking to pick up his 5th win of the season as the Diamondbacks take on the Dodgers at 9:40. And the Athletics and Mariners game is postponed due to COVID concerns. But with that said, that's everything to look forward to today. Once again, it is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. Out here in this quarantine, I'm James Sims. This is the Elite. Thank you once again for hearing my piece, and peace out.